Welcome to my channel Yamato 2702. Why has France recently sent a number of warships to the South China Sea? The French military's presence in the disputed waters emerged as the US military intensified its operations in the area, angering Beijing's government. So what exactly is France doing? In February, the French Navy began a 3-month training and patrol plan, sending the amphibious assault ship Tonnerre and the destroyer Surcouf from its home port in Toulon, southern France, to the Pacific. This group of ships will cross the South China Sea twice and participate in joint exercises with the US and Japan in May. The French plan does not include sending ships through the Taiwan Strait, which is very sensitive. A few days before this patrol and training mission, French Defense Minister Florence Parly said that one of its attack nuclear submarines, Emeraude, had completed a patrol in the South China Sea. The route is seen as a protest against Beijing's aggressive stance over disputed waters. Ms. Parly once said in an annual Intergovernmental Security Forum, the Shangri-La Dialogue, that France would continue to send ships along the South China Sea at least twice a year. She urged like-minded countries to do the same to ensure open access to the seas. In 2019, Beijing made a rare move when accusing France of illegally entering Chinese waters after the French destroyer Vendémiaire crossed the Taiwan Strait. The French government, on the contrary, calls this a normal activity that it has been undertaking in the past. France's presence in the South China Sea, new or old. French naval vessels have been operating in the South China Sea for many years. The current 3-month mission is now an annual event since 2015, while France has also participated in joint exercises with Australia, Malaysia, and Vietnam, although less attention has been given to the South China Sea issue. Hot as now. In 2015, France released a joint statement with the Philippines, saying both countries opposed any occupation or declaration that they deemed a violation of international law. This statement is of course aimed at Beijing. The following year, French military ships and U.S. aircraft carriers patrolled the South China Sea after Washington raised concerns about China's increasingly aggressive claims, including operations build artificial islands and install weapons. And in that year's Shangri-La Dialogue, France announced its intention to cooperate with the European Union, EU, to jointly patrol the disputed waters in order to promote freedom of navigation. Why does France care about the South China Sea? France has territories, so there are many exclusive economic zones around them, in the Indian and South Pacific regions. These regions are of importance attached to French interests in the region and have helped the country to tighten security ties with many of the countries there. France also follows in the footsteps of the US in coming up with its own version of the Indo-Pacific strategy in 2018. Along with other European countries, France has repeatedly said that freedom of navigation should be guaranteed in the South China Sea, as this is an extremely important maritime route for global trade. China claims that it has historic navigational rights over 90% of the South China Sea, based on the so-called Nine-Dashed Line. In 2016, the Philippines filed a lawsuit against China's claims to the Arbitral Tribunal in The Hague, arguing that the claims violate the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. The court ruled that most of China's sovereignty claims had no legal basis, but Beijing opposed this ruling. In February 2021, a French official said that their attack on nuclear submarines in the South China Sea was aimed at confirming that international law is the only valid law and that France would continue to work to strengthen their connection with a group of strategic partners between the US, Japan, India, and Australia, also known as the Diamond Quartet or the Four. This year, France issued a joint statement with Germany and Britain at the UN, stating that they support the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal's ruling. How did China respond to the French military? Beijing has been angry at what it sees as an intervention and provocation by the US military in recent years, but chooses to refrain from publicly criticizing France for its recent military activities. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it respects the freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea of all countries, in accordance with international law, but opposes those countries that take advantage of freedom of navigation to influence the China's sovereignty or regional peace, stability. Chinese state media accused France of engaging in US anti-China conspiracies and said that the country had no place in the South China Sea. Analysts said that France could continue to increase its military presence in these waters to oppose China's illegal claims,